Marcus used to believe life had a structure. You did well in school, you followed the right path, you earned your place, and eventually the world will notice. Jordan never believed that. Although he was rebellious, didn't take his studies seriously. His point of view was that life had never shown him anything structured enough to trust. They grew up in the same town, same school, same class, but not the same reality. Marcus had stability, not perfect, but predictable. Jordan had the opposite. Yet, somehow, against every quiet assumption people had made about him, Jordan's parents pushed themselves. They found a way. Extra shifts, borrowed money, sacrifices no one saw. And one day, Jordan stood where few people expected him to stand. University. But university was not a clean chapter. It was survival in a different language. Jordan worked odd jobs, late nights, early mornings, anything that kept him afloat. While others revised or rested, he worked. He was always behind, but never out. Marcus, on the other hand, moved steadily. Everything aligned the way it was supposed to be. Degree, internship, corporate role. He landed at Twali for You, an SME loan firm. He became dependable, reliable, the kind of man systems trusted. Years passed. Jordan graduated, not with ease, but with endurance. And somewhere between exhaustion and necessity, an idea found him. He had watched women struggle to find hair they could trust, 100% original, no synthetic blends, no false promises. So he built it, the hair you love. Wigs, extensions, bundles, accessories, all human, all original, all real. It was hard. Rejection, doubt, empty bank accounts, suppliers who didn't take him seriously, customers who were skeptical, a market that already had noise. But slowly, something shifted. A yes where there used to be a no. A loyal customer where there used to be silence. Growth where there used to be survival. Word spread the way it does when something is genuinely good. 3 years later, the hair you love was no longer a side hustle. It was a brand, a movement, a business with real numbers behind it. That was when the 610 Homes came calling. A property and a real estate firm, not the obvious suitor. But they saw what others missed. Jordan wasn't just selling hair. He was building trust, community, and loyalty at scale. They wanted that. But more than the company, they wanted him. Only if you stay and lead it, they said. And so he did. 2 years passed. The 610 Homes set its sights on a new acquisition. Twali for You. The SME loan firm had weathered a difficult season. The pandemic had not been nice. Portfolios had thinned. Growth had stalled. And the firm that once felt sturdy had begun to crack under the weight of it all. When the 610 moved in, it felt like rescue to most people inside. But there was a condition. The leader of the 610 decided that Jordan would lead both, the hair you love and Twali for You, or the deal wouldn't happen. Marcus didn't know this at first. He only knew his company had struggled. Things had slowed, then cracked. And when the acquisition finally came, it felt like relief. There was a party. Celebrations filled the room. Laughter, relief, polite optimism. Marcus stood among it all, carrying quiet pride. He had held things together longer than the most. He had been consistent when others were uncertain. Then he saw him, Jordan. At first, it didn't make sense. Then, it did. And the truth didn't arrive loudly. It settled, heavy, uncomfortable, final. Later, they spoke. Two men shaped by the same beginnings, but very different decisions. It hadn't been the same road, and they both knew it. Marcus now found himself in a position he never imagined, working under Jordan. Jordan was now in charge of two companies, one he had built from nothing, one he had been entrusted to lead. Something inside Marcus resisted, not loudly, just enough. Enough to question, enough to compare, enough to quietly resent. In his mind, the equation didn't balance. I was more disciplined. I followed the right path. I did everything I was supposed to do. So how? There was something Marcus could have done. He could have leaned in, observed, learned, asked the questions that don't come from pride, but from growth. A man who had built the hair you love from scratch, convinced a real estate giant to believe in a hair brand, and then been handed the very firm Marcus had dedicated years to. That man had something worth studying. But pride had a quiet voice, and it often sounds like dignity. So Marcus made a decision, not out of strategy, not out of vision, but out of discomfort. He resigned. People said he chose self-respect, but what he really chose was distance. Distance from comparison, distance from discomfort, distance from a truth he did not want to sit with. He told himself, I would rather sit at home and find another job than work under him. And for a while, that felt like control. But time has a way of asking better questions. Not immediately, but eventually. Sitting at home, Marcus had space, too much of it. And in that space, something began to echo. Not Jordan's success, but his own choices. Because the truth was never about who was smarter or who deserved more. It was about something far quieter, something hard to admit. Jordan had built, even when it was hard. Marcus had waited, even when he was ready. And that is where their story truly separated. Not at the acquisition, not at the party, not even at the resignation, but as a quiet, invisible line. One waited for permission, the other moved as if it had already been granted. Permission is neither granted or denied. Life rarely stands in front of you and says no. It simply waits and watches what you believe about yourself. Because the most powerful permission you would ever receive is the one you give yourself. 3 things Marcus didn't do right, but should have. 1. He chose pride over proximity. Marcus had access to Jordan, not just as a leader, but as a living blueprint. A man who had built something from nothing in an industry nobody expected and earned the trust of a firm powerful enough to absorb totally for you. Instead of leaning in to learn, Marcus pulled away to protect his ego. Growth is often hidden inside uncomfortable relationships. 2. He waited instead of repositioning. Marcus believed his past effort should secure his future position, but when the structure changed, he didn't adapt. He exited. The world doesn't reward history, it responds to evolution. 3. He compared instead of converting. Instead of asking, what can I learn from this? He stayed in, this shouldn't be happening. Comparison drains, curiosity builds. What Jordan did right. 1. He moved without needing validation. Jordan didn't wait for perfect conditions or a perfect industry. He saw a gap. Women who wanted hair they could genuinely trust, and he filled it. He acted from necessity and built from there. You don't need permission to start, only courage to continue. 2. He turned struggle into skill. Odd jobs, rejection, pressure, skeptical suppliers, a crowded market, none of it was wasted. It trained him to adapt, sell, endure, and to solve. Your hardest seasons are often your most valuable training grounds. 3. He stayed when opportunity came. When the hair you love was acquired, he didn't cash out and disappear. He accepted responsibility, grew in leadership, and multiplied his influence across 2 companies, 2 industries. Sometimes the real opportunity begins after the win. Permission was never withheld from Marcus. It was never claimed.